Episode number 148 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is Mike Snyderman.
And we're recording. How the hell are you, dude?
Pretty good.
Good.
Steve, I'd like to try something different today.
Okay.
I want to talk about myself a little bit.
All right.
You're supposed to laugh. That was the joke.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right, how is this different than 147 other episodes? But go on.
This is just a quick bullshitting session here.
Yes.
Bitcoin, baby. It's hard not to mention Bitcoin. I know people
don't know
this probably. 10,000.
Yes.
Or 9,960 or whatever it was last time I looked.
Yes. I'm looking it up right now. It is 9966.
So it's probably going to hit 10K today. I just sold a bunch. With the intention, I thought I'd throw this out for anybody out there, but the one guy I listen to all the time, the day-to-day, he says it's time to lock up a profit. So hopefully, I mean, the plan is not to get rid of Bitcoin, but I'd like to think I'm holding it in cash, and I'm hoping it drops to like 7,500, 8,000. I sold 1.5 Bitcoin for like 15,000.
Okay.
So potentially I could buy back and have 2 Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
This is how you spin it up. So I don't know if you're on a again.
I'm kind of feeling the same. I never thought I would think about selling it, but I invested $450. It's worth almost 10 grand right now. I could pull half of it out, and I'm still over 1,000%. You know, with what's left in there.
Well, again, like my goal is just to get more Bitcoin without buying more Bitcoin. You keep doing these trades, and this is what some people do, how they do it. You just keep acquiring more coin by selling high and buying low.
Yeah, finding the right time. That's the thing is I haven't seen the pattern. There's a guy at work, Ulysses. He's doing that, kind of the day trading thing with Bitcoin. He has these stop losses and stuff on there, and he believes he's kind of figured out the pattern. Maybe I need to pick his brain a little bit.
That guy that I listen to says, listen, there's got to be a market correction at some point.
Yeah.
He's studying these charts for 7 years, and there's times where it absolutely explodes. It always falls back, but then, when it rebuilds, it always rebuilds higher. I mean, it's always going up. But
yeah.
Anyway, Steve, I thought, if you sell now, you might have, let's say Bitcoin hits 20,000 next year.
Yeah.
Right now, if you sell and buy back at 7 or 8, you say, let's just say you have 1.3 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You've technically maybe there's a way you've made an extra $6,000 by spinning it up a little bit. But
I wonder how much do I take out then? Let's say it's worth 10K. Do I take out half or a third?
I don't. Yeah, that's your choice. But I mean,
the level of risk you want to assume. Yeah, that's
for some reason this guy could be wrong. That there's a correction coming, and things have just changed. That now that if you go on MSNBC, they're talking about Bitcoin, and it's kind of more mainstream, where we just see a ridiculous run up to $20,000, and then there's a correction, or it holds at 20. So I could be losing a lot of money here too, because I'm not going to buy in until it goes under 8,500 anyways.
Okay.
Of course, fucking Coinbase is a fucking criminal operation. They charge like $300 for this transaction, or 200 something.
Do they really?
I'm telling myself it doesn't matter because
there's going to be so much on the back end. Yeah.
I'm going to be making, like I said, from this transaction, I'm hoping it drops to 7,500, in which case, if it drops all the way to 7,500, I've effectively made a half a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which by next year is like, a 10K profit. But I don't know. It's probably, yeah. I think I already told you, I sold like 3 Bitcoin a few weeks ago. I just couldn't deal with the ups and downs anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And that might be something that I'll be traumatized by in the near future, because I sold at like 6,600 each.
Okay. Well, what'd you buy them in?
I don't know. I've been buying, and probably my average Bitcoin buy right now is about $4,500.
Okay. So, well, you made some money.
Yeah. And I've had a horrible 4 weeks of poker here where I've lost like 20,000. So I had to get money out too.
Cash or tournaments? Cash, yeah.
Both, probably about half each.
Okay. Online?
Mostly live. Well,
Okay.
I've told you what happened in Tahoe. I mean,
Yeah.
And the cash game's bad. So if after winning in Tahoe, I decided, you know what, this is my high point financially. I got all my Bitcoin. Let's just play 2-3 for 2 months. That would have been nice. But anyways, I didn't. Lost a lot of money, and hopefully, I don't have to take any more Bitcoin out. Like I said, this isn't really getting out of Bitcoin. This is just moving to cash so I can buy more Bitcoin. Hopefully, when this thing. So now I'm actively rooting for this thing to take a dive here.
Yeah.
If it drops $6,000 in the next week, I'd be ecstatic.
Yes. I keep looking on there, and I expect like I've missed something, or the like what you were talking about, Bitcoin Cash,
Yep.
Bitcoin Gold, one of those. I listened to a podcast about that. I'll have to send you the link to it. If I can find it, I'll put it in the show notes. They're talking about these other Bitcoins, Bitcoin Gold, and how they have, you can mine possibly 42 million of these Bitcoin Gold, and they're only going for a couple $100. And it's kind of like this Betamax VHS, who's going to win? Well, Bitcoin's got the solid lead right now, out of 21 million, 16 million have been mined. Like it's there, it's solid. But if one of these other ones wins out, then Bitcoin could be worth nothing next year.
Well, that's like digital currency is here to stay. But like, why? Never mind the different Bitcoins. Why couldn't just Google just come up with a coin?
Exactly.
So that's why it's probably good to like diversify a little bit, or at least, like you said, have a stopgap where I can jump out. The one guy I like to. I don't know if we discussed this. He's normally like the most calm and collected person when it comes to Bitcoin. And you can interrupt me if I already talked, but all of a sudden, there's one day where Bitcoin Cash went up like 1,200 and Bitcoin went down 1,200. Mm-hmm. And he actually had a video like, "Is this a conspiracy?"
Yes,
because he was talking about essentially, he doesn't like all these forks from Bitcoin. He's like, it's just a money grab. A lot of this is so dubious. So when Bitcoin Cash is exploding in price, he's like, this is something that has no value. People aren't using it. How is the market valuation for this company so high? And basically, there was a bunch of people who bought it that day, and the price just started skyrocketing. And he says this could be a bunch of billionaire investors. We don't really even know what the hell's going on with the coin, who decided to buy this, and they're going to make this the Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a fork to Bitcoin, and it didn't happen. They canceled the last one.
Okay.
And there was a huge run up of the price of Bitcoin going into that. So he says, like, all these people, they said there was going to be fork, they canceled it. Then they started buying all this other stuff, which they think is eventually going to replace Bitcoin. And he had like a technological explanation. So I was like telling everybody, just get the hell out of Bitcoin. And I sell a few of them. It didn't, Bitcoin immediately obviously just skyrocketed after that. But Bitcoin Cash but basically, you don't know who's going to win out. You got all this, there's so much bullshit. This isn't regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody we know is making money off it, so it's hard to be negative about it. But it's not. Right. You really don't know what some of these coins even do. Like this guy said, why does Bitcoin Cash have this kind of valuation? Nobody's using it. It has no value at this particular moment. Do they know something we don't know? Is there a conspiracy?
Yeah, what there's something there. They're buying it for a reason, but what?
So I don't know. But somebody was explaining this. This is little poker talk. I mean, again, I can't even verify this is true, but supposedly some company, when you try to raise money, you're going through all these hedge fund manager or whatever investment firms or everything, and like the banks are like taking a piece of it. This company supposedly raised $250 million. Someone was explaining to me, without the bank, all through Bitcoin. So normally, if you were starting a company, and you're talking to Peter Thiel or some venture capitalist and stuff, you got to sell off all the pieces. You're going to pay a 20% almost surcharge just for all the bankers and investment people just to get their slice of it as they're moving the money around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this company just saved $25 million or whatever by not doing that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is
Yeah.
why digital currency is just powerful. It's just like,
Yeah. I like the idea that it's not regulated by the government and you can spend it all around the world. I think that's the future. You know, it's like you said, is it going to be Bitcoin or is it going to be a different one? I think it'll be a combination of several of them. You know, there'll be certain currencies like Mark, the Bitcoin guy, was saying. There'll be certain currencies that are good for certain services and other ones that are good for other ones. You know, Bitcoin, you can buy real goods with it and get it delivered to your door.
Just in terms of government oversight, there's nothing stopping from, if you put your money on, one of these Binance or Bittrex and started trading, there's nothing to stop these people from just shutting the site down and keeping everyone's Bitcoin.
That's a risk you take, yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you like a government security where?
No, good point.
They can't do that. I'm just showing you that's
a really good point, yeah.
Right. If you deposit your money in a bank, Bank of America can't just close shop and just transfer all the money to a Swiss bank account,
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a way they could do that, actually.
I did take some and I put it on. So actually, I guess I only own 0.85 of a Bitcoin now, or like no. I think it's like 0.9.
Okay.
Because I moved some over to that Poker Mania site. I'm going to be playing there tonight. Actually, I'm looking forward to that place. It's fun. I haven't played in about 2 weeks, just with the move and everything. And I've been working a lot, but yeah. So I did take some off, so that could alleviate some risk. But if it does go down, then I might move some of that back into Bitcoin and do like you said. And then, if it does go down a little bit, I'm basically hedging my bet. If it goes down, I can put some more back in and then make it up. And if it continues to go up, then I still have a good amount in there that I can make money on.
I mean, yeah, it'd be good. I get so excited when I see some like high end prediction, you know what I mean? But I follow some of these crypto traders and experts, quotation marks, on Twitter, and one of them who was bragging about how he's been so close to predicting the market. The new number he threw out, he says $200,000 by 2021.
You buy a house with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like that in a couple of years, I'm sure in a couple of years, you probably can just use Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's getting
Bitcoin
accepted
ATM.
more and more places now,
There's a couple of Bitcoin ATMs in San Diego. I think we've discussed
awesome, that. Dude. That is so cool.
Anyways, but basically this is all magic beans to a lot of us like myself. I don't know what it is. I just know there's people who've gotten rich off it, and cross my fingers and hope this is drastically improved my. Yeah, I mean, in the last, whatever it is, 5 months since I bought it, I think I've already told you this. If I had just bought Bitcoin, but I've been doing all these little trades with all these little dumbass penny ones and losing and, gambling and change. I've kind of changed that. Plus, I just saved a few. But if the money I put in, I just left it in and didn't touch anything, I would have about 50,000 profit in a few months.
Wow, that's insane.
So, yeah, I mean, you're almost getting to the point. If it's a 20K run up where I could just, as long as it doesn't have to, it's not going to keep growing 1,300% like it did this year.
Yeah.
But even if it grows, say 100% over the next 4 or 5 years, it's like.
Oh, that's great. I mean, my retirement account that I set up gave me 10% last year, and I was doing backflips. So numbers like this are insane. It's pretty sweet.
I know it can't keep up, but whatever.
Yeah.
Really, I'll just try not to think of those. Just be grateful that I got some, I guess, and not think about the fact. Well, if I didn't go to Vegas this year, I could have bought 40 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Just use the money I lost in Vegas to.
Yes. But speaking of all this Bitcoin, let me throw in real quick for Poker Mania, where the fish come to play, and it's true. I'll be playing there tonight. My screen name is Sagaba. And so you can go on there and you can see who's all playing. Greg Raymer's always on there around that time every night around 5 o'clock or so. He plays in the tournaments. It's fun. So if you guys want rake back, you want to play on Poker Mania, you can get it. Go to headsuppoker.poker. Click on the little Poker Mania icon, and you get a rakeback check every afternoon. It gets deposited into your account, and you can use it to play some more. So, Poker Mania.
Wow, Evie, you got another little sponsor here.
Little sponsor, yes.
You were
Yes, I
just
contacted
how about
the owners, and I thought, okay, well, I'm playing there. What if some listeners did too? And so they got a rakeback deal.
you
So
were
it's pretty cool.
you were wildly enthusiastic about it, even before you spoke to them about perhaps getting a little few shekels for the show here.
I was, yeah. I thought, well, if we can help out the podcast and help build their site, it's just a win-win. So it's a lot of fun. And there's no HUDs. The players are, it's pretty bad. It's pretty awesome. I love it. But
What else? What other sponsors should we get here, Steve? Maybe we should take them. How about Red Devil condoms?
that might be a good.
I don't know if that's a real thing. I'm just trying to. I'm picturing your picture. I'm picturing your picture on a condom box holding. Anyways,
holding it up with the cheesy 1950s style toothpaste advertisement.
Right.
Smiling too big, too many gums, too much teeth.
Interview with Mr. Helmuth here. I'm curious how people will think about that. Just came out yesterday, but
that was a fun one. He was a really good guest. It's obvious that he's done a lot of interviews, and I felt like I kind of got to see like behind the mask a little bit. It was kind of cool. He gets a lot of flack for his antics at the poker table, and I think it's basically just when he was a kid, that was the only way he could win was games. Like you said, whether it was Monopoly or Risk or cards, backgammon, that was his thing. All his other siblings could outdo him in every other area, but that was his win.
right.
And yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I want to have him on again. Maybe in January I'll listen to his positivity book and have him on again. I think that'd be cool. It's like one thing I got from him. When you put your mind to something, I really wanted Phil on the show. I woke up one morning, I did my morning workout, and then I thought, you know what? I want to get Phil Helmuth on the show. And so I started messaging people. I ended up messaging a whole bunch of guys. Jonathan Little got back to me, and he said, yeah, this is his email. So I wrote him, and within 2 hours of deciding that I wanted him on the show, I got an email from him saying that he would come on the show. And then last week I had him. And so I think there's something to that, just deciding that you're going to do something, and then somehow it'll kind of manifest. You can't really figure out beforehand how that's going to happen, but as long as you just keep going, eventually you'll get it. And I think he kind of has the same mindset, and he's figured it out a little bit better than I have. But yeah, it was a fun interview. I'm glad I got to do it.
That's funny. I do the same thing, Steve. Like I wake up some days, I'm like, I just want to humiliate myself somehow today. And then lo and behold, like 20 minutes later, I'm at the grocery store trying to talk to some college girl. Doesn't end well. And I'm like, this Barton positive thinking, positive feeling stuff actually works. See it, feel it, do it.
That's a good one.
Speaking of, I just got a haircut, Steve, and you know how they spin you around in the chair with the mirror to look at the back of your head?
Yes.
You see how it is? My head really looked like a pumpkin with some black ink for hair put on it. I mean, it's gotten so fat. It's finally. I
was going to say you got to pay more than $3 for the haircut, and you.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with the haircut.
I've been saying this for a while, but I've reached the point where I can only fit into one more pair of my blue jeans, so it's either I have to actually buy a new wardrobe or lose weight.
I remember when we were in Tahoe, you got up in the morning and you just looked at me and you're holding your pants and you're all, I refuse to buy new clothes. I just can't fit into any of these anymore, but I just have to lose weight.
I mean, that's a pretty decent incentive here,
I know the feeling.
The funny thing is my sweatpants, of course, still fit.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing of clothes that I bought in the last year, I buy like the XXL or even XXL stuff. Some of it doesn't fit me, but like some dress shirts, a couple of my $300 Robert Graham shirts. So You're looking at me walking around with $10 sweatpants and a $300 around town. That's pretty much my options.
You're like that old dad move with the sweatpants, the socks, and the Jesus sandals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any advice for this, Steve. You probably, like, your idea of getting out of shape is you put on probably 7 or 8 pounds and you decide you're going to skip a couple desserts and crank up your exercise a little bit. Like, it's never probably been an issue for you.
No, I bounce between 170, 175. If I get up to like 178, then I'm like, okay, you need to stop eating ice cream after lunch every day. That's just, and something when you just let it get to the point of like that, then it's simple because you can usually just change one habit and bam, it's done.
Right. I'm going to, 99% of it's diet at this point. You just can't. So,
about 80 to 90% of it is diet, and the other 10 to 20% is exercise.
Right. Well, we'll see how it goes here. I told myself I'm going to go to the gym today, but I got to.
If you really want to make a difference, what you do is you just start out with breakfast, and you do some healthy breakfast every day that tastes good to you and that you can enjoy, and you do it every day, and you do it for a month. And then that's one meal. And the pounds will already start coming off. Then you do the same thing for lunch, and then you do the same thing for dinner. And in 3 months, then you'll just be having a steady, healthy meal. And allow yourself, a cheat day every now and then.
I do not like vegetables, Steve. I mean, I like lettuce covered in blue cheese dressing.
That probably doesn't help.
Like if somebody makes asparagus like really good with some sort of, walnut cream sauce or something. Broccoli is just
walnut cream sauce.
I don't know. Yeah, what is? But like broccoli, anyone who's on a diet, I see eating broccoli, like or at the casino, and broccoli is just terrible, Steve.
What about spinach? What do you think of spinach?
Spinach is okay. I can eat spinach with I have spinach and ham omelets.
Okay,
that's like I kind of have it with something else. But what are is squash as good for you as like leafy vegetables and broccoli?
The way to think of it is the darker, the greener it is, the more colors it has. Like a bright red tomato would be better than like kind of a orangish tomato that came off the vine a little bit too early. Deep red strawberries, dark blue blueberries, spinach, broccoli. The more colorful, the better. White rice is not nearly as good as spinach.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cauliflower is not as good as broccoli.
When you're like, my thing is, well, I'll just have protein in fruit. And someone's like, really got to have the vegetables because fruit is sugar. It's just natural sugar versus synthetic sugar.
True.
You got to have the protein plus the vegetables. I'm just saying there's no vegetable.
Here's what I do. I think of every meal as having 3 parts. And if it doesn't have all 3 parts, then it's not going to burn fat. And those 3 parts are fruits and vegetables, and then the next part is protein, and the other part after that is fat. I think fat's kind of gotten a bad rap just because of the name. But it's fats like olive oil, olives, avocados, nuts. You can think of those as your fats. And then the fruits and vegetables that we already talked about, that's pretty obvious. I mean, the darker, the better. And then the third one is the protein. So eggs are probably the best. Then things like fish and chicken and beef, venison, whatever, take your pick, a protein. So like in your omelet example, you have spinach, and that's the vegetable. And then you've got protein, which is the ham and eggs. The only thing you're missing is like half an avocado. Now, with the spinach, there's very few calories in that, and there's probably 3 eggs, which is 200 calories, plus the ham is more, and without the avocado, you're not really going to lose the weight because your body's craving that lack of nutrient. And the spinach is probably only 15 calories, and the other one's 300. So if you were to throw in a pear on there, and I don't know, whatever the side dish that they give you with an omelet is, a fruit, throw in half an avocado, and now you've got a meal that's actually helping you lose weight.
Okay. I gotcha. Sounds good. I think exercising like vigorously also just makes you feel stupid having having freaking ice cream after you've just exercised, I think.
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that probably contributes not just to metabolism, exercise, but burning calories, but also, lifestyle.
It ups your metabolism, and you ironically need less sleep. I haven't figured out why. Maybe you sleep faster, like you're sleeping more efficiently, but I notice when I'm not working out, I need more sleep, and when I am working out, ironically, I need less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But,
Yeah, I don't know, Steve. Quickly this month in poker, I mean, we've had the same conversation since episode 1, pretty much, about you just offering, bankroll management. And hopefully my goal is to only play 2-3 here for the next few weeks anyways. I told myself this is the punishment for playing, not only playing 5-5 and losing money, but playing badly. But yeah, my mental, emotional leaks are just so massive. There's a part of me that just wants to be punished, I think, and lose money. I don't know. I can't explain it any other way.
yeah,
But
like self-inflicted pain for...
Yeah, pain junkie. That's the Tommy
Yeah.
expression. I mean, if I could just get rid of that, man, I could just make a consistent living doing this, I think. And it hasn't been so bad. I mean, the previous 2 months were so good. I haven't pushed myself to the edge of annihilation here or anything. My life roll is still relatively high, but yeah, I mean, I got real unlucky in a couple big pots. I had like a 3-way all in where I had middle set. It was no good. I got it in a straight against a guy's over pair, and he hit a better straight. That was like a $1,000 pot. But the last few days, I've just last night I 5-bet, called it off with ace queen. Guy had kings, but I was down.
Wow.
I was into the game for 4,000, and I was just like, if I win this pot, I can be even.
Yeah, but you knew you were behind, right?
Yeah, it's just gambling, and it was just frustration. I wanted, I was just losing every little pot, and yeah, the frustration's building because the games there are getting tougher again. For a while, I've always been talking about how there's just way too many pros there. And for a while, they kind of let off there. There's a couple of them that just started. There's a couple of the best pros there started playing a PLO game at 7 Mile, another card room nearby.
Okay.
Which is very lucrative. There's another guy who basically retired because he's got so many Bitcoin. He comes in once a week and has a steak and says hi to everybody.
Wow.
But he'll never work again.
When did he buy?
He's just been accumulating for a long time. Like, I sold him 3 Bitcoin in May for like 2,700.
Okay.
And he just goes around to anyone selling Bitcoin, and
is he still buying?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, but anyways, I mean, I kind of know him. I know how much Bitcoin he has, but
you know how many Bitcoin he has, or you don't?
I do, but everyone in my casinos listens to this stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
But yeah, he's made a lot of money here, so he's been
good for him, man. That is incredible.
He's been well ahead of the curve for a while here.
Well, if you're listening, sir, well done. I'm envious.
And
I have one, and I would love to have even
there
one
was
and a half.
There was one day where it was going down, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to him. I said, dude, do you realize you've lost $100,000 over the last 6 hours? He just shrugged. He's like, dude, it'll be 20,000 by next year. What do I care?
That's utmost confidence.
He's very confident in the whole thing. This is like, there's people smarter than me who believe in Bitcoin. This is what drew me in from the beginning.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of smart people, of course, saying it's time to get the hell out. This is, but.
Well, that's the gamble,
But the games were getting better. A lot of it I ran good, obviously, but I had a couple months straight, and I was like, playing at night. I'm like, what's going on here, man? Look at this. There's just a couple guys who are coming in here. There's money getting thrown around. And there's a couple, that definitely, there's always at least three or four pros at the table. But the kind of the guys that are there aren't like going after me. I mean, the chances of us playing a big pot are a couple of the other ones just pushing every edge against everybody. They don't give a shit. They get no respect for me, kind of thing. But if a game is good, people just sniff it out. You know what I mean? There's just not a lot of money. It's hard to make a living in playing poker. So there's a couple guys who've been coming in regularly. I'm like, geez, God, please don't tell me these people are going to be regulars here.
Wow.
So they came, and The funny thing is, I just occurred, so I don't mind losing money to the great players. It's those guys who are like the weekend warriors who are actually really good at poker, but they've got real jobs where they make more money than the poker player. So why would they be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting crushed by those guys the last month. You know what I mean? Getting bluffed off hands or making bluffs in bad spots and and I don't know. It's just been a frustrating time. And yesterday we'd all hit ahead. I told myself I wasn't even going to play 5-5. I came in the morning and played 2-3 and made like $150. Then went off to get a dental cleaning and came back and immediately sat at 5-5. And and I just wanted the pain to hit the maximum so I could get out of there. So I lost the last few dollars in my pocket and went home. But I got to stop doing that, Steve.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, Elliot. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know what.
It's like the information's all there, Steve. There's a burning house and there's a hulking fireman right there saying, "Take my hand." You like the word hulking?
I like the analogy.
And I'm like, hold on, sir. I want to do this my own way. Where's my pogo stick? I'm going to go upstairs and go out the window. So
I'll throw this blanket filled with gasoline over my head as I run into the other room.
It's Elliot, and I have a real problem when I'm stuck. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the pattern I'm noticing.
Losing $1,500 is just not a big deal, especially if you're coming off So I was really, if you look at my numbers from October, probably, you're going to see, a lot of $500, $600, $700 days where I lose, and then a bunch of $1,500, $2,000 days I win.
Yeah.
But when things are going bad, when I'm down, like yesterday, I was into the game for 4,000. I just I can't lose again here. I think I've lost 10 of my last 11 sessions, which is, and I got to get better at poker, Steve. I got to start thinking about, I think I told you from the Crush Live poker video, which broke down actual, this is what you open under the gun. This is what you open UTG1.
Yes.
That should be a useful tool. Like, just stick to that. And there's spots where someone opens like under the gun in middle position. I'm flatting with, say, Jack-9 suited.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a call? We talk about.
Wait, in what position?
Middle position.
Oh, later position. I like it. Middle.
Even later position. If there's guys who squeeze behind, I think like yesterday there was 2 of those spots where I flatted with like. Someone opens, I call on the hijack with whatever, King 10 off, somebody squeezes, I fold.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pre-flop leaks that I have to.
Maybe if you're on the button and the blinds aren't apt to squeeze. But even then, I don't think folding is a mistake.
Well, the point is I'm playing too many hands passively, Steve.
Okay.
Which just is not profitable unless unless you're planning on floating, unless you have some guy is. Yeah, I try to the one guy there I know I'm friends with, and his win rate is really high. He just plays less hands, but when he does, he's always leading the charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
the obvious spots. Somebody opens, early position, and he's on the, somebody else calls, and he's in the big blind with pocket threes. It's just, small investment. You hit your set or you don't. And,
yeah.
So he's not always 3-betting or squeezing stuff, but just playing. Yeah, I don't know, Steve. I think I got to get better at poker. And it's funny, this guy told me and someone else told me, and they were having this conversation, and it didn't occur to me. Both of them said it's nearly impossible to have a losing month playing this game. Like, that to me was like a shock of lightning.
Yeah.
That, this year I've probably had 8 winning months and 3 losing months or something. But basically, one guy's like, he's like, listen, I had a day where I lost 8,000 this month, where I was, he's like, if you stick to 5-5, basically, you should not be losing more than a couple big pots a month. You'd have to get like set over set a couple times, and even against some players, you can. If you're playing properly, basically, I need to get better poker is what that tells me. You know what I mean? Like, this month is going to be. me down a good amount.
Well, what
I've
could
had,
you do to get better at cash at your game? Are you saying like study more this month, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I think I've gotten better with games. I can't play shorthanded at 3 a.m. after I've played 12 or 13. That was an Elliot thing, which he immediately said, you shouldn't play more than 8 hours or set your own. And a game can't just be good to justify staying after 8 hours. It has to be gold, 3 stars.
Yeah.
I thought that's a pretty good way to look at it.
Yeah.
But I just think, yeah, like I said, when we talk about a hand, we're always talking about these sexy spots, and you're studying the man. He's doing this with the cards. So playing the proper range of hands is what winning poker is.
Yeah, that's 95% of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a losing play if I'm, I was joking about this yesterday. I'm like, why does 10-8 suited look like the greatest hand of all time to me?
I feel the same way with Jack 10 suited.
I mean, I'm like, I can't actually remember winning a hand with this thing, but it's like a 3-bet. It's like I open and flat with it. I mean, you're always flopping a gutter and calling on the flop and not getting, that's a fold to what position are you folding at? You should be folding it under the gun, UTG1. At what point do you open 8-10 suited?
I'll open it like hijack. If I have like weak players behind me, if it's a strong table, then I'll open it in the cutoff.
I mean, I don't know the answer to these questions. My point, Steve. Like,
well, would you open it wider than that?
I am right now, yeah. I mean, but like I said, there's too many. I'm making too many decisions each day. Like when Joe was talking about having a coach and preparing for doing this, he's like, I want to have as few decisions to make as possible. He knows exactly which hand he's playing from every range and how he's doing it against certain, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah, I'm lazy, Steve. This is what, I mean, Carlos and Assassinato were telling me this summer. It's like, dude, it's time to start using Flopzilla and getting work here.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were offering some tough love or tough whatever.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah. So with cash, it's like, yeah, if you ask me, that should be the thing I focus on anyway. It's not like, geez, I should have bet the turn so we didn't get there on the river, and if I bet 90% here, I mean, you got to think about all the stuff, but it's like, this is my revelation here. It's just pre-flop. Which hand am I playing? Which am I opening? Which am I flatting? Which am I 3-bet?
You can print out that little list that you got off the training series.
Right, but it isn't even. Yeah, in terms of opening ranges, that's fine. I could do that.
That's a quick, easy one right there.
Right.
I mean, you're probably within 3 or 4% of that, but just nail it down, memorize it, which you can do in probably 20 minutes because you're already right there. There's certain ones like in certain spots he's like, okay, don't open ace 2, 3, 4, and don't open ace 6, 7, 8, 9, but do open ace 5.
Right.
Ones like that, but you may be a little bit on either side, and I know I was before seeing that chart.
But that's just the beginning, is what I'm saying too. Beyond that, you have to now decide. 2 people open. You have. What are you squeezing in the big blind for a table that runs a lot? I mean, are you squeezing pocket 9s? What's more profitable squeeze, pocket 9s or ace 4 suited?
One guy opens from early position, another guy calls, and you're in the big blind.
I mean, just generally speaking, say there's 3 or 4 people in the pot.
3 or 4 people in the pot. I'm in the big blind with pocket 9s. Am I set mining there? Probably. I'm going to be out of position. You're probably going to get at least one caller.
I mean, the one guy on my left yesterday squeezed from like the big blind or the small blind like 3 or 4 times to these pots where it was like 20, 20, 20. He makes it 180. And all 3 times he took it all down.
Well, there you go. You got to make it big.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer though. Like you don't obviously, a suited wheel ace is a pretty good hand if you're in the big blind. You only got to pay $20 to see it.
Yeah. You can
But
make the nuts. Yeah.
but it's maybe that's not where the profitability comes from. The profitability comes from having a blocker, and like there's just basically lots of. If you're a good poker player, you should be not really thinking that much. Is my new theory on this, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of like that in online tournaments where it's just I can 10 table and like you know what I mean. I know what I mean. I'm not that I'm not making mistakes, but at least I'm not. I mean, making a lot of mistakes, but I'm kind of a bot almost now.
Yeah.
Which range, which amount of three betting? Okay, he's got this many chips. This is, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
so like I said, that should be the Joe LaPinta goal. Is just there's not a lot of decisions to make here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm from the big blind. Like I said, but anyways, like there was a couple times yesterday where I call that like passive tilt yesterday, where I'm just calling a lot pre-flop, and
yeah.
and
Each time $20 here, $20 there. That adds up.
Right. Yeah. I just flat with pocket nines and call on the jack high flop and a multi-way pot and then fold the turn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too strong to, you know what I mean? And then there's a lot of shit like that. The jack nine suited where the 9 is the biggest card on the board and then the ace hits the turn and somebody, yeah, maybe I should be going to 2-3 a while. And I don't know what, it'll be interesting to see what I was discussing this with some people. They think the 2-3, because the drop is so big, it's $1 pre-flop, and then it's 4-1 post, and also another dollar comes out on the river if it makes it to the river. And we're discussing the rake, and somebody's like, I think $20 an hour is probably max there.
Okay.
And Alex, who's played a little bit there, he thinks I can make this year. I've made about $36 an hour there, but that's only in 300 hours.
Okay.
I don't know how many hours you need to get a good estimate of your hourly. I'm guessing at least 1,000.
You're saying at 2-3?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty damn good.
But that's only 300 hours, Steve. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea how many hours you need.
It's a decent sample size. I mean, that's
I don't know.
How many hands would that be? 30 hands an hour, maybe.
Well, let's put it this way: between 300 hours is probably how much live cash I played in October and November.
Yeah.
At this casino, and I was up almost $50K.
Okay. Good point.
I'm not a $200 an hour player, Steve. So no, I don't think 300 is anywhere near to enough.
Okay. Good point.
Basically, yeah. But if that was my win rate there, I'd be silly not to just play that.
Yeah.
And avoid.
I'll keep playing and see what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I could be wasting my time though if this guy if the max is $20 an hour.
Well, right now you're at 36. Keep going until you get to 20, and if that ain't enough, then whatever. Who knows? Maybe you'll level out at 31.
Yeah, long term. I was going to say Alex thinks that 30 to 35 hours, 30 to 35 an hour is actually reasonable. He said, plus if I'm really paying attention and kind of making mental notes and like learning the player pool, because you get a lot of the same guys who are there all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some guys always check raise their sets, but never do it with their flush draws, and you know what I mean, like exploitive play, trying to see how people play.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I got to get better at poker, Steve. The difference.
Advantage. Yeah.
I mean, the difference between being a $30 an hour cash game guy and a $60 an hour cash game guy is, it's obviously double the money, but it's quadruple the benefits in terms of life happiness, at least.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, any more on your looking for a place?
Well, I've lost so much money this month. Now I'm like, Jesus, how am I going to afford $2,200 a month in rent? That was kind of
Yeah, okay.
I was calculating. I'm like, well, I'm now a guy who's going to be making at least 8 to 10K a month playing cash. And now I've readjusted that too. Now I'm a guy who's going to be slowly losing what's left of his money before going insane and being institutional.
Such a dismal outlook.
Yeah. I swing wildly between like just this growing confidence and just like how much money I can make playing poker. And oh my God, the Bitcoin's going up and I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 years, to like now it's just like, please God, let my son get 3 meals a day till high school. Somewhere in between there is probably the truth there. But yeah, it's just like yesterday there was just a lot of pre-flop stuff, and it just, I mean, I already knew this, but I'm like, this is the essence of it, man. I'm like, why am I just flatting here with tens? And should I be, just there's just hands. I'm like, yeah, somebody opens, I flat like hijack with 8-6 suited, and I'm just not winning enough there.
Yeah. Is it boredom?
I just like that. It's the opposite, I think. Like that's always Carlos's statement. He's like, you have too much fun playing poker. Every decision should be just dispassionate. Is this not, oh, well, this guy, I can bluff this guy here, and let's hope that it spin the wheel. And I mean, there's just nothing wrong with folding for 3 straight hours.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was having this conversation yesterday with this kid. He's really good. He's someone I'd like to get the hell out of there. Paradoxically, he's one of my favorite people there, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
And I asked him how he did the previous night because I had seen him, and it looked like there was lots of chips on the table, and he, he just had 1,500 from him with the buy-in. So from that, I can extrapolate that he's not that he's just even, that he's probably down.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I was just patient. I folded for hours, and I had a big night. He made like 4K.
Huh.
It's a good game, and you can fold. He's like, I was in for 2 buy-ins without playing many hands, which is without losing a big hand, which is, if you right away, I understood that means you're probably playing pretty decent. You're making plays, and you keep losing these $100, $200, $300 pots, but you're not down because you lost a big flip and decided to get it in there or got unlucky. It's just a bad game, and you've been unlucky. So anyways, I mean, I've had nights like that too. I've gotten better at that. I mean, I definitely fold a lot more than I used to. And there's certain hands that I don't even think twice about opening,
Yeah.
From early position. I mean, ace 10 off in the muck. King 10 off. Any unsuited Broadway is just shit. Somebody opens, under the gun, whatever, queen jack off, small blind. I just fold it.
Yeah, I do too.
Save those $20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've definitely stripped my range down, but it needs to be pared down more. But like I said, then the second decision number 2. Well, what do I do if I'm 3-bet here? What am I doing to other people's opening ranges? Am I losing these squeeze opportunities? Like I said, I hate squeezing with 10s because, especially if I'm out of position. But it's like, I have such a range advantage of a guy. It's like,
yeah, it's the 5th best hand, and you're like, well,
right. So yeah, you know what I mean. I don't know. Like I said, I've run bad the last month, but my guess is, like these guys who say they just can't have a losing month, like running bad should be, I'm down $3,000 and not $15,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see, Steve. I don't know if you're going to see me in Vegas this year. This is the other thing. I'm like, I should be every focus should be just putting in those 200 hours a month. I just like tournaments too much.
I'll be out there. I already got the time off. I'm going to be out there in June for about 2.5 weeks, something like that. Maybe 3. I think 3. Yeah. So I'm going to room up with the guys again. That was a blast. I can't wait to do it.
Well, I told myself I got to have 100K in Bitcoin to go back to Vegas. I mean, it's possible.
That seems a little excessive.
Well, I don't know, Steve. If I can go there, I'm not just going to kick back and play 2-3 and play 1Ks like you are.
There's a lot of money up top in those. You could limit your downside and have a really high ceiling, as we say in fantasy football.
Well, I mean, any way we slice it, it's just not a plus EV decision to go there, because I'm paying for housing, because I'm paying for rake on the. I mean, yeah, there's the possibility for a score, but basically, if I stay at home and play 2-3, I'm supposed to make $5,000 a month.
Mike, do you really want to stay home and play 2-3 while the World Series of Poker is going on? Come on. Snap out of it, bro. Are you kidding me? We have to go every single year until we die. That's like the only option.
Well, I also don't want to go to prison because I pistol whip some monkey who calls 5 bets with pocket deuces and hits a set. Sends me out of the maker on either. You know what I mean, Steve? I gotta. There's yeah. I mean, I'll feel different when the schedule goes next. I'm really regretting just how much money I lost this year. It was just absurd. And it wasn't. Yeah, I was fine. You know, I was rebuying with 30 big blinds and playing some tournaments, not getting enough sleep, but. You know, I just ran bad, Steve. I mean, it's not absurd how much money I lost. Many people could have the same experience. The same thing could happen next year, even if I was meditating 6 hours a day.
It could, but remember the year before?
I know what you're saying. You
even
know,
got a trophy.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember, but well, whatever, Steve. You understand what I'm saying. It's just the variance is too high. You got to have. I'm beginning to see the whole 100 buy-in rule here. Like, I really honestly think you should have 100,000, be worth 100,000 to play a 1K tournament almost.
Yeah, I agree.
Steve, your life is very different than mine. You own 3 houses, a plane, and you know what I mean. God only knows how much money you actually have buried in your backyard that you don't even mention to us.
I sold the house. That was a big stress relief. I was able to pay back the loans and all the interest that I'd had on those loans for the divorce, and I feel like I'm starting from scratch and making more money now than I was before, and it worked out well. It was a stressful time, but
so now you're not like me at a poker table saying, "Well, I'm stuck. How do I get even?" You're not like, "How do I make 80,000 over the next because of the divorce?"
Yeah, pretty much. I'm focusing on. You know what? I can close that chapter of my life. It'll be wrapped up here in February, and I basically just go to the court and sign some documents, and it's done. But yeah, that financial, like, I didn't realize how freaking stressful that was. Just yeah.
I hope this is over, Steve. I hate to be a cynic, but I just feel like there's still just some sort of dastardly curveball that's getting me thrown your way here. But you said it's all in contract, written down, the exact amount of money, etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what happens if she doesn't? Does she have to show up in that court that day to sign a document?
No, she can't. She can't even come back to the country.
Okay. I mean, this chick got a lot of money from this.
She did. It was a stinger. It was.
Go
ahead.
You can edit this out, Steve. We won't talk about some of the most really outrageous, ridiculous criminal stuff that was going on. But how about, did we talk about how this whole thing started? You came home from a trip and you looked in your checking account?
I wasn't home from the trip yet. I was on the trip.
Can we talk about that? I don't know if you want to edit this out or not, but yeah, never mind the divorce settlement. She stole $25,000 from you on top of that, and you
23.
Yeah, she just emptied a checking account, said, and then you couldn't even factor that into the divorce settlement.
Nope. It was.
I can't wait till we share some of these details.
You know, it was funny. I was having a poker night, ironically. We were drinking beer and smoking cigars out in the garage just before I left the old house. And my buddies, they're like, "Bro, you don't know how lucky you are. If my wife took off with 23 grand, I would be saying to myself, good luck cashing that check." There's nothing there, you know? So I guess this is definitely a first world problem. But it was just a stinger in that we'd been saving that money since we got together for her flight school, for her to be a pilot.
You had been saving that money, Steve. She hadn't been doing shit.
Pretty much. We were taking about half her paycheck and putting it into that account, and the other half would go to the bills and, paying stuff. But yeah, I made the vast majority of the income, and we wouldn't have been able to save that if it wasn't, for me helping her out. And that was a stinger. But you know what? I was talking to Carlos, and I'm like, if I look at it like after almost 3 years of marriage. I learned Spanish. That's a
Steve,
skill
stop it with the fucking Spanish. Stop. Thank God I know Spanish now. I mean, I know eventually you're probably there's gonna be a fire where some hot Mexican teen jumps out of a sorority house window, and you're able to
I catch
comfort
her
her.
in
But
my
really,
arms.
will it be worth it? Is that night gonna be worth $23,000 or $103,000?
It could be. I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, but the way you're describing it, it just might.
Thank God stop looking at the positive side of things. God, it's.
I would love a little Latina to jump into my arms right now. That would be awesome.
I love the day your plane almost crashed. Somehow you're like, well, I learned a lesson.
Yeah, note to self.
Just cheery as can be.
Always include the throttle cable in your morning checks. I had a little hiccup with the throttle cable since then, and you know what I did? I didn't fly the freaking plane until my mechanic looked at it. So I did learn. I did learn.
Well, we both have slow learning curve, Steve, in different areas of life. You've got most of it figured out, but
yeah, getting there. But speaking of getting it, figuring it out, Elliot Roe. Yes, I will not play a hand of poker unless I listen to that man's voice first. Meditation tapes just before you play. You got to get in the right mindset so that you can focus on poker. Listen to an MP3 before you play. You put it right on your phone. I just have all mine on my phone, and I listen to it before I play. They're like 10 minutes. He's got them for everything. Online cash, online tournaments, live cash, live tournaments. Got a leak buster, simple volume system. Try it for free. Listen to his 7-minute tilt buster. The link's right in the show notes. Just put it right on your phone and listen to it. No credit card, nothing. It's free. From me and Elliot to you. You got to have a warm-up routine for everything, especially poker. So try it with a little 10-minute routine of listening to an MP3 before you start to wager large sums of money for small edges. This is the next step in poker, the Mindset Advantage by Elliot Roe. Use the code HUPOKER, score yourself a discount. You'll find the link in the show notes, HUPOKER. If you're into apps, you can also try his app Primed Mind. That link's in the show notes as well.
Huh. What's the app?
Primed, Primed, and then Mind.
I mean, what is does the app? I'm guessing it has. You can download some of his, maybe try some of his
exactly. Yeah,
sessions
you try it
for free, and then
the link's in the show notes. It'll take you straight there, and then you download the app, and then you get his confidence booster, his study booster. You get all those. He set it up almost like a course. It's pretty brilliant.
Huh. Okay, I'm downloading that right now, man. I didn't even know about that.
But anyhow, I like it. I dig it. It works for me. But we got Alan Kessler coming up. He's kind of an interesting guy. He as Jacob. I was talking to Jacob this morning, and as he put it, he calls him. I'm doing air quotes right now. A promo grinder. So he's really good at. He sounds almost Carlos-esque. And he likes
Don't
to
insult the man, for God's sake. You haven't met him yet, Steve. No,
I think he's
famous for the playing the slot machines, and he loves the slot and finding different ways to.
Yeah, I kind of do that with video poker. I'll play 25-cent video poker, and then I do the max bet every time. And as long as you never make a mistake, you're basically breaking even, but in the process, you're gaining a whole bunch of these casino points, and it gives you comps and meals and stuff like that. And so I think this guy has just taken it to a whole new level. He hardly ever pays for a room, and he's a really successful tournament player. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing on that. I think it's called the advantage gambling, where he likes playing slots, so it's not just to get that's. But, you can find a way where you get, say, $500 in slot play for $50. Like somebody will have a promotion. Like guys keep an eye on this shit.
Okay, so you're free rolling.
Like you sign up for a card and get a room one night. And like sometimes people will even like mispromote something and make a screw up. But anyways, on $500 of slot dollars, your expected return is, say, $480, for the house egg.
Yeah.
So you play those 500. You get $480, and then you pay $50 for the room, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would be a ridiculously generous screw up on the part of the casino. Obviously, a lot of people would take advantage of that. But yeah, I think that's kind of how the shit works. There's people who are, yeah, I don't know, man. If you're going to be, I think it was on the Thinking Poker podcast where those guys had Ari Engel on there. You know, one of the more successful tournament players. He was going in great detail about how he saves money on plane flights and all this other kind of stuff. And you know, I think I heard Faraz Jaka talking about like it's a challenge, like how little money can you spend traveling the world? You know, keep track of it, and you know every dollar, and that's obviously against. I'm sure you would get into that the same way that you know some fitness people, or you know, how many miles can I bike today? It's like how many free can I manage on the next trip? You know what I mean? Like competitive way, and obviously beneficial.
Yeah, he seems like the perfect guy to figure it. When you watch him speak and you watch him on YouTube or you listen to him, you can tell he's got a very pragmatic mind. And when you watch him, he's almost like a savant. Like he's like looking around a lot. And you know, I studied a bit of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And when you look at different areas, it means different things. There's like 6 quadrants. There's up and to the right, up and middle, up and to the left, and then down to the right, down to the middle, down to the left. Each one means a different thing. If you're left-handed, it could be the opposite. But basically, when you watch him speak, he's you know, accessing all these different parts of his brain very quickly. Whereas most people, when they speak and they're trying to recall something, they're usually looking up and to the left, and they're staring there for a while as they're kind of recalling the picture, and you know, they don't move around so quickly. So I got a feeling this guy's mind just moves incredibly fast, and it's faster than he can verbalize and speak. And I'm kind of anxious to get inside.
Yeah,
inside the head of him.
Do your quick research, Steve. Like if you Google chainsaw Kessler 2+2, you can. I mean, I know he's. I'm doing that right now. I see he boycotted the WPT at the bike a few years ago because of their quantum reloads.
Oh yes, I heard an interview about him talking about that.
So, which is something interesting. I mean, most of us just accept whatever tournament changes come through, but you know, I'm assuming he's saying it's very disadvantageous towards the average player and very good for the pros. And you know, got to think long term. I know he's always making comments about tournament structures and this and that. So if you get him talking about anything in poker, he's got some good insight and thoughts about it. You know, and I think very ethical in his own way about what's good in the world of poker. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I got one strategy hand here.
Oh dear. Speaking of strategy hands, Steve, do we need to mention our friends at Tournament Poker Edge?
Yes, sir. TPE. Join Mikey and I at Tournament Poker Edge. Let's get better at these tournaments, people. Join TPE and get access to almost 2,000 training videos. It's in the name, Tournament Poker Edge. Give yourself an edge in tournaments. Use the code HUP month, HUP quarter, or HUP year. Get yourself the discount, man. Tournament Poker Edge. Okay. I got a note from Kevin MacArthur about our last episode when you remember the Jack 10 and I flopped 2 pair and tried to play it cute, and then by the river I just didn't get full value. And
what did Caddy Kev say about that?
Caddy Kevin said, "I can't hold my tongue any longer. Steve, quit trying to play so cute. Bet your strong hands!" Exclamation point. Thanks. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kevin. You're right. As those words are ringing through my head right now, I have a hand that may qualify as that as well. So we'll see.
That's funny. That stings, Steve. I think I can't remember if we discussed the last tournament I played was the $1,100 one at the bike. At the Commerce. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? Where I made the money. I had 80 big blinds.
I don't remember this.
This was just a few weeks ago. I really thought this was the one. I'm like, okay, finally, here it comes. Here comes the $200,000 score. I got all the chips. I'm playing great. One of those things where you start the tournament, you look around, you see a lot of good players everywhere, and then like you're at the end of the night, and you're like, wait, where did all those guys go? This field is very weak. And
yeah.
And I've been caught bluffing and being so aggressive, and then I get a couple big hands and decide to slow play him. Like, if there's anybody who should not be slow playing big hands, it's me. I mean, or somebody.
You felt like you had to do the opposite of, because, oh, well, now I actually have something.
I mean, you just pump it in there and hope they got something, or hope they think you're making a move on them. But anyways, I forget. I flopped trips and just checked it, and this guy hit a gutter ball in the river for a straight. I mean, again, unlucky. And then I flopped top pair, big kicker, and this guy ended up hitting runner flush. And then I lost the flip, so I was gone like 10 minutes later. I made the money like one of the chip leaders, and then like I was just gone.
Oh yes, we did talk about this. I
So
remember.
yeah, I've never been like so fucking devastated. Like one of those. I mean, I'm always bitching and moaning, but usually I actually have a pretty adult view of the tournaments. I know how this shit works. You know, you get lucky, you get lucky. But this was, yeah. I remember the Hustler tournament last year. I think where I busted the last hand of the night. I had to wait an hour before I drove home, just listening to music as I walked around the place. I was so agitated. So this was kind of similar to that. But yeah, to get into your hand, Steve. But it's just, yeah. Sometimes you wonder afterwards, like, why wasn't I slow playing there?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an Alex rule for cash, is like you're pretty much never slow playing a monster hand. You just don't get enough of them.
Yeah.
You have to just try to go for the other guy's stack. And like you're never thinking. I mean, maybe late in a tournament, you're like, if I can get 12, you're making immediately like a deal. Like, geez, if I can get 2 streets of value or 15 big blinds from this guy, that's a 60% bump to my stack. Blah 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 blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But especially deep stack cash games are really you got a big hand, just bet it and try to get the guy's stack. But anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve, we can do one hand.
Okay.
I might just brusquely go through this here out of frustration, but
okay. This one's pretty quick. Okay, blind levels are 150, 300. Total pot is 690. This is a tournament on. I played this one about 2 weeks ago on America's Card Room, and we are 8-handed. It's a 8-handed tournament. 55 buy-in, and I'm sorry, 44 buy-in. And we're under the gun +1. Under the gun makes it 660. The level's 150, 300. He makes it 660. We're next to act. Villain has 50 big blinds. Out of 300 hands, he's a 20, 13, 3.1. And we're next to act with 38 big blinds, and we have pocket jacks. Players behind us have 24 bigs, 14 bigs, 17 bigs, 19, 43, 19. And Villain's the big stack with 50.
Probably flat.
Okay. And what's your reason for flatting?
Because I don't know what to do.
Okay. Calling is not a compromise, as Andrew Brokus would say. I thought of flatting. I flatted as well. And my reasoning was maybe that'll give the 24, 14, 17, 19 big blinds. Everyone except for 3 people. So 5 people at the table have, like 24 big blinds or less. 4 of them have 19 or less. I thought that they might think of this as a squeeze spot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to 3-bet fold jacks here. I don't know if I can. 38 bigs is kind of a lot to go broke with jacks, isn't it?
I have, if this is early stages of tournament with both deep, then I'm always flatting here. Because you can call 4-bet as well.
Okay.
At this point, obviously, that kind of option has been taken away from you. I guess you can.
I think I can call a bet from the 5 shorter stacks, but I don't know about the 43 bigs and the 50.
No, I'm not talking to be shoved, but I'm saying if you 3-bet to 5.5 bigs and this guy clicked it to 13 bigs, you can call and see a flop before you make a decision for your stack.
Okay.
You can call a 4-bet.
Okay.
You're maybe deep enough for that. I don't know. I've been kind of taking I forget, some well-known pro says he does not have a 3-betting range UTG1. He's flatting aces and kings there. He's flatting nines and tens. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, probably just. I'm probably thinking of just flatting here. I don't know if we change. Well, quickly, you mentioned his stats. Like the key stat here would be, you probably don't know if a hand, not just like, would be what is his raise first in? What's his under the gun? How frequently is he opening there?
Let's see. Under the gun. Pre-flop. PFR early position is 15.
Okay, that's about average. You're obviously ahead of that range. That means he's opening all sorts of. I mean, you don't have enough hands to judge it. I mean, this might be one of those spots that people will play. You can 3-bet here because your play is so strong. He's only re-raising with queens plus. But I mean, I don't know if you can really say that about anybody. Most people always have a few bluffs in their range.
Yeah.
He could be 4-bet. You don't want to rep the aces and 4-bet the ace, the blocker. I just flat. I don't know. That's my answer.
Okay. Yeah, I flat. I was hoping the shorter stacks would shove, and that that's basically my main reasoning. Was I was hoping one of the shorter stacks would reship, but
shorter stacks would not be shoving light, but you're obviously calling them. I don't think they're shoving light.
I could see the average ACR $44 tournament player reshipping like eights plus and ace queen and like that.
Okay, maybe, but just that wasn't under the.
Maybe the occasional king queen suited, something like that. I guess I'm flipping with some of those, but there's a few in there that I think I dominate, like eights, nines, tens. Then you get the average wing nut, or every once in a while wing nut that'll do that with like ace 7 or something,
No, you can't fold, but to 19 big blind shove. But
no,
it is an under the gun raise and a UTG1 flat, so those are two strong ranges. But,
True. Okay, well I call. Pot is 2K. I've got 11K behind. Villain has 14K, so the effective stack is 11K. 2K in the pot. Pocket jacks, and the flop is jack of spades, 8 of clubs, 4 of spades. And Villain leads out 7-10 into 2K.
See, now when we're talking about slow playing, this is one of those things where you don't necessarily have to raise to get all the chips in here. Because you're not super deep, but yeah, I'd probably click it back here.
Okay.
I don't know, that board is pretty got that board murdered.
That's another thing. We have the board crushed. I think it, I remember Mark Eliotto talking about how, like when you have a hand like this, we got jack of diamonds, jack of hearts, and the board is jack of spades, 8 of clubs, 4 of spades. So it's better that the jack of spades is out there and we don't have a jack of spades, because now that gives him more spade options. Whereas if we had the jack of spades and it came out like jack of clubs, 8 of spades, 4 of spades, well, now we've got an extra spade here, so 3 of the spades are accounted for instead of only 2, giving him fewer flush draws. So I think I think we're probably splitting hairs, but that would err on the side of, raised up a little bit, because he's got just a few more flush draws.
Yeah, and if he bets and you flat, what kind of range is he putting under there?
Probably a flush draw, things like 9-10, queen 10, king, probably not king queen.
You fall
a jack.
Yeah, how many jacks do you have in your range?
That's a good point.
Pocket jacks and ace.
Pocket jacks.
And ace jack suited.
Ace jack suited.
And so there's 3. You got 3 combinations of ace jack suited, since you don't have the ace. Yeah, my only point is that is he going to proceed with a bluff that often here? I mean, I think I might raise just hoping he got queens plus and it's going to shove it in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think your range of calling pre and then calling the c-bet is so strong. What is he going to try to barrel you off of? Now, so the reason to be just calling is, obviously you're hoping he catches up and gains some equity. He's got ace king and hits an ace on the turn.
Yeah.
Or a king on the turn. But this might be one of those spots from like,
he's either going to have queens plus and go for it, or he's not.
Yeah, I guess.
Or he's got the flush draw.
Yeah, he could.
But that's pretty rare because is he really raising ace deuce suited there?
He could have
15%.
He could have queen king suited, and of course hit the ace on the turn, which he'll rep. So therefore, you got 10 cards rather than 6 cards that you're hoping to hit.
True. Okay.
If I had 25 big blinds or under, I'm definitely just flatting here. I think because we can get the chips in pretty easily on the turn or river. But I don't know. I mean, this is Steve.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. This is a raise. If he's got queens, kings, or aces here, which are all in his range because he raised under the gun. There's a lot of other stuff in there too, but the times that or a flush draw, like you said, and see if he has those hands and then the spade hits the turn. The way if I just call here, it looks like I could be on the draw.
And again, like I said, I can raise. Let's just assume this is a guy who I've got we've each got a HUD and we've each got 2,000 hands against each other because I'm like a 23-17-9 or something.
Yeah.
I've got maybe a few more bluffs in his range from the villain's perspective. So he's more likely to get sticky here with pocket tens or rebluff you with an ace or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that depends too. That's a factor as well. Game flow and how the villain perceives you. If you've been caught just bluffing, then I'm more inclined to raise here. But it depends. What is the guy's c-bet and then turn c-bet?
Let's see.
Just
flop c-bet is flop fold to c-bet, turn fold to c-bet, flop c-bet 50, turn 0.
Okay, so the fact that he c-bets here is a pretty good. He seems like he gives up a fair amount, so that increases the chances that he's got a pretty big hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just trying to give a HUD lesson 101. That would be we don't have a lot of hands on, but that would be the thing you would look at for any villain.
Okay.
If he's c-betting, how frequently he's c-betting and what's the likelihood of double barreling? Because you want him to double barrel here. That would be the reason to check back. That
you mean just to call?
Just to call because A, he can catch up and get a pair, but B, he can also. He's the type to get really to maybe try to go 3 streets or whatever, or at least take another shot at it.
Yeah.
Pot it on the turn. Hope you got a flush draw and pot it on the turn so you don't have odds to call your flush draw kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, Steve. I don't think raising's a mistake. I don't think flatting's a mistake. And what did you do? You flatted. So what happened on the turn?
Okay. I flat. Pot's now 3,400. Turn is the 5 of spades. So the flop was jack of spades, 8 of clubs, 4 of spades. Turn is the 5 of spades.
That's the other thing we didn't even discuss. If he does have an overpair and the spade comes, you've just killed all your action.
Yeah. Into 3,400, he bets 1,400. Got to screwed ourselves by not raising the flop.
Well, that's not what I'm thinking here. I'm just thinking, do we want to shove or just call here? I'm not thinking of folding if that's what you're talking
about.
No. Yeah, I think I'm raising here. I don't know, Steve. I guess if he's. I don't know. I don't know if you could. I guess you could say you got to raise to charge him for if he's got a spade. but I'm tempted also just to check back here call and then let him blast any, non-spade river. If you think that's what he's going to do.
Okay. I end up calling. I think you're right though. The move is to raise on the flop, and I hope he's got one of those overpairs, or at least some kind of spade. Then it sets up a lot nicer river shove.
What was the spade again on the turn?
5 of spades. So it's Jack of spades, 8 of clubs, 4 of spades, 5 of spades.
Jack 8, 5, 4, 3 spades. I got you.
Yeah. I end up calling. We got 6,300 in the pot, and the river is the 6 of diamonds. So final board is Jack 8, 6, 5, 4, 3 spades. Any 7 makes a straight, but we're not worried about that because he raised under the gun, and villain checks.
Yeah, I think betting here is reasonable.
Okay. Into 6,300, what's your sizing?
I guess we're still hoping to get called by an overpair. I would bet small, 2,200.
Yeah, I think so too. I went 3K. I think that's too big. I think something like 1,900, or like you said, like 22. Just make it small and try to get peeled off by ace kings folding, ace queens folding. If he's got one of the 3 combinations of ace jack, then that's going to call that bet. And then the overpairs, they'd call that. But I think 3K is too much. So I bet 3K, and I guess by now it should be pretty apparent that he folds. So I'm regretting betting so big. But I think you're right.
You might have got the maximum there. I don't know.
I could have. Maybe he was just running a 2-street bluff, but with his stats after 300 hands, not firing the turn, I don't know. I think the move is raising on the flop. Yeah,
I would say so. Again, yeah. I think like this is a function of stack size a little bit. If it's 50 big blinds plus, I'm always raising here for the most part. I want to get some chips in there.
Yeah.
And 25 big blinds and under, I'm more likely just to flat here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, your flatting range on the flop there is really strong.
Yeah, so. You're right. Well analyzed, sir. Well analyzed. And what'd you call him? Caddy Kev? Caddy Kev, you're right. I'm gonna put a little note on my computer when I'm playing on Poker Mania tonight about that. Bet your big hands. Stop freaking slow playing them. Get max value. But I like it. Well, thank you for coming on, Mike. You guys can follow Mike on Twitter and check out his Twitch channel. Those links are in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be hard? Hell yeah. And that is the best part. The best part is pushing through the pain. The best part is the challenge.
You need to have goals that seem out of reach. At least goals that are hard to reach. You, pushing through all the crap in your way to get there. You, clawing past all the demons to get to your goal. You, climbing and climbing to reach the top of that mountain peak that no one thought you could reach. It's you, hearing your body say no more, and then hearing your mind say, shut up, I got this. I'm in charge today, and you're coming with me.
You see, your mind is stronger than your body. And if you program your mind to always go one more round, to always push past what you perceive as your limit, to give more than anyone else would ever expect from you, sooner or later your body will realize this guy won't let up, so I'm just gonna have to grow with him.
Your muscles in the gym and in life can only grow with resistance, with struggle, and by pushing the limits, by expanding expectations.
In the gym, putting a little more weight on the bar each time, going a little further each time, pushing a little harder each time. In your life, extending your goals a little more each time, learning a little more every day, expanding your mind every day, pushing the limits of what is possible for you until you break that barrier you need to break. Then you set a bigger goal, a more exciting goal. Add more weight, do more reps, add a new challenge. Challenge equals growth. You cannot and will not grow without challenge. And that's what I mean when I say the best part is that it's hard.
That's what separates the average and the great. The average run from hard. They hide from challenge. The great run towards it. They love a battle and they grow from challenge. Without challenge, life is dull and void of meaning.